Hello there everyone, I'm Christina of CSLdesigns, and in today's video we're going to be looking at something a little bit different because I recently got something in the post that I'm quite excited about, so I thought I would share it with you. Let's just bring the big beast in. So this is the case that it's in. Basically, I got a book with my designs in. So this, like I said, is the case. Let's open up and have a little look. This is the front page, and it comes in this lovely case and easy to remove, and you can see very shiny. So let's just get it out of the case because it takes up quite a bit of space. There we go. And this is the book. So we are going to go through it and have a look inside, but just want to say, full disclosure, this is not a sponsored video, so the company didn't pay me to advertise this book to you or anything. I'm making this video because I would like to share this with you. It might be of interest. And I also did pay for this, but not full price. So how it basically worked is on Instagram, I think it was an ad that popped up where the company that makes this book and other things as well, they apparently do this somewhat regularly, I think, whereas you can apply to basically get a voucher to their shop towards, say, one of these books to basically try out, but you then do have to kind of obviously post on your socials about it once you get the book. So it is some free advertising for them, but it's basically a free voucher that I got. So I applied. Like, everyone could just apply if they wanted to, and I was selected. So I kind of thought, why not take the chance to get a really nice book made and kind of make it almost a bit like a portfolio. That was kind of my thought. Get a fancy little portfolio done with some of my favorite pieces or pictures that I've gotten or made throughout my jewelry making journey. So now that that's out of the way, let's get to the fun stuff. So this is the book itself, and I was also intrigued because, first of all, it's a printing company. They do other things as well other than just books like this, but I also noticed that they did something different with these books than I'd personally ever seen before, and that is the front cover here. So if you notice, it's very shiny and reflective, but that's because it's actually acrylic. So don't know if I can maybe try and show you here. It's really thick because the actual whole front cover is made of acrylic, which I thought was very different and I was quite intrigued by. So that was another reason why I was very interested. But otherwise, just having a look at the book, it seems really nice quality, and I'm pretty sure this is leather, and also the case it comes in is leather, which personally I would prefer it to be faux leather. It doesn't say, I couldn't find much more detail, but it just says leather, so I'm assuming it's genuine leather. I would prefer faux leather, but you know, what can you do? But, so that also means the front here is quite thick and heavy, but it's actually really nice, and I think it's a really cool idea that the front is actually a piece of acrylic. It just makes it a little bit different and special. So as you can see, I did everything inside myself, picked the photos and kind of set them up. You can obviously choose the amount of pages as well, and then I did the front here. I decided to kind of do a design where I had my logo in the middle, and then a few selections of the pictures that are actually inside of the book as well. So that basically gives you a little bit of a sneak peek, but let's get straight into it. So this is the first page. So the first kind of the back of the front cover there is blank, but you can add little text. So I just added this, a collection of my favorite pieces and pictures. So some of the pieces in here are some of my favorite pieces that I made, and some of them are where I really like the picture itself, as opposed to, obviously I like the piece as well, but it's not necessarily a favorite piece, but I just really like the picture. So again, I chose a font that kind of matches a bit with my style of brand, same as my logo there. So this is the very first picture that I chose. I kind of thought that was perfect because I did make this rose a very long time ago now. It's weird to think about, but I'm still really happy and proud of it. And of course, it's also something I've used, it's not on there, but for a long time basically as part of my logo, which I have been wanting to kind of change it up for a long time, but I just thought it was a brilliant way to start the book. So, also, the paper here and the actual pages are really thick and they're glossy. Of course you can choose other finishes and other paper, but this is just what I ended up choosing and I really like the way it looks. Nice quality, and it's very thick as well, so it's nice and strong. So moving on to the next page, and it's printed on both sides. So this here, this is a more recent design. I want to say about a year ago ish. Something like that. And yes, I do quite like the picture, but this is mainly because I did really like how the actual pieces ended up. So the jewellery itself, but obviously I like the picture as well. And I did kind of make a little bit of a pattern to this book. So the front was obviously just that rose, that was a single picture. And here, the two pages next to each other, I've got two wirework pieces. This one is, I do like the piece, but I've just always really liked something about this picture. I think it's mainly the stone, to be honest. It's just really beautiful how it is and how I managed to photograph with the colours and that in the stone. So got two wireworks here next to each other. Again, the blue paper is really nice to kind of touch. And then next I've got two macrame pieces. So this here, I do like the picture, but these are also because it's some of my favourite macrame pieces that I've made. I just really like how I managed to do the 3D shape of like a bell as a Christmas ornament. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but and a little bead inside there. So kind of Christmas related, and also this happens to be kind of Christmas related, like a snowflake. This is also mainly because I really liked the picture that I ended up taking. It's basically on top of a real poinsettia. I had to find the word there. Poinsettia plant, which is obviously a Christmas kind of plant, mainly associated with that. And I also added some glitter onto the actual leaves or petals, and then I put that in the middle of the flower, the snowflake there, and then took a picture top down, and I did really quite like how that picture ended up, so that's why I chose that one. I thought it would look nice in a nicely printed book like this. The next, again, I have two wire work pieces next to each other. First, I have my Egyptian crosses, Egyptian style crosses, that again, that's not too long ago I made them. I think mainly that's also because I just really like how the actual pieces ended up, so they are some of my kind of favourite things that I made, and I like the picture how the beads work with this wire. And this is also something, this is actually very old by now, but I like how the picture ended up enough that I managed to capture it so to kind of show the whole piece. But it's also something I've always been kind of pleased how the design itself ended up, so I chose that one, and I thought these two kind of go nicely together next to each other, side by side. Next we have some wire kumihimo, two next to each other here, and here is mainly because I really like the jewellery that I ended up making with the wire braid there, basically capturing stones, but it's all incorporated into the the braid as we're making them. So I was pleased with how that worked out. And the other one here, that's an old one, a very old one as well. This is mainly because the picture. I really love how these beads work with the silver wire and then on that stone there, and just how the picture turned out. I've always liked that. And next we have two micro macrame actually. So this, I always really liked the actual bracelets as well, and the colours. I just really like kind of the colours I ended up choosing for these. And this has always been kind of, I think, one of my favourite pieces, especially macro macrame wise. Basically Tree of Life macro macrame and a bunch of leaves, but kind of different colours, very autumn-like in the colours. So that was mainly that reason, because this has always been one of the pieces that I'm most proud of, even though it's very old by now. To be honest, I think most of these pictures are actually from very old designs, but obviously that doesn't matter at the end of the day. And then again, we have two wirework ones. I've got, these are somewhat fairly recent designs, obviously not the past few months or anything, but compared to really old, I always really liked this design basically making it look intertwined. And I do really like the effect on the oxidized one, even though I don't do that a lot, but I really like how the picture turned out as well, and the detail that you can see in it. And this one is also, I really always liked the design itself. I was always proud of that, but I also liked how the picture turned out, and again the chain that I made for it as well, that you can see in the picture. And next we have 2-wire crochet, which is a more recent medium that I have taken up probably the past couple of years by now. It just feels like more recent than that because time passes so quickly. But anyway, the first ones here are the snowflakes that I made, not this past Christmas, but I think the Christmas before that, and added some stones as well, so there's a bit of bling, which you can kind of see if you look closer. But I do really like them, the design itself, and obviously whether it's for jewellery or whether it's for actual decoration. And then also these wire crochet beads I was really pleased with, because I actually think them being put together like this and then actually into, in this case, a macrame bracelet, just, well, it's just really strung through, but I just used a macrame technique for the kind of clasp part. So I just really like how, even though in a way they're kind of messy looking, which is not usually my style, for some reason I just really like how these look, and especially multiples together and maybe combined with other beads and that. So I'm pleased with how they turned out. And then here we have 2 beaded kumihimo designs. Now this one here is, I've always been pleased with the design of this bracelet, and it's, I think it's one of my more popular designs over the years. But equally, if not more so, I've always been really pleased with this picture. I just really feel like it's captured the colouring and the whole rainbow effect really lovely. So I've always been really pleased with this picture in itself. It is really, really old by now. I don't really think I realise how old, but it is. But that doesn't make it any less nice. And then this one I've always been really pleased with as well. Basically using beaded kumihimo and then the super duo beads there to actually capture a capuchon, but incorporating into the whole necklace as well. So yeah, obviously I have tutorials for all these as well already, in case you're wondering, but I've always been really pleased with this idea, and I really like the colours that I put together. Then next we have again 2 wire work ones. Obviously there's most wire work in here by the looks of it, but that's fine. And this one, I've always been pleased with the design, but I really like this picture for some reason. I think it's a combination of the beads and then the oxidized wire. I think it just works really well together for some reason. I really love these beads. I love when there's multiple colours and it's kind of a random mix, but at the same time it just works so well. And I love the detail you can see in the actual wire work. And then this one here, this again is actually very old by now, but I think it's always been one of the favourite things of mine that I've made. I'm just really pleased with how this piece turned out. The aesthetics, but also obviously kind of the meaning of it. And then I also really like the chain that I made for it. And then I think the picture turned out pretty nice as well. And then next we have 2 macrame designs. So first we have some bracelets here, which I'm pretty pleased with the design, but I also like how in the picture here the colours I chose were separate, but they also really work so well together, I think. And the aesthetics of that look nice. And then here's the other flower that I made, again a long time ago. This was after the rose in the beginning of the book, but not long after, because I was, I guess, in that place to making macrame flowers. But this is a tulip, so obviously you can actually see the flower head, but then also I made a long leaf to kind of symbolize the tulip, how they are. So I like that as well. I wanted to kind of represent that in here as well, along with the rose, so it wasn't just the rose. And then we have another 2 wire work. We have this design here that I made, I think it was last year. I actually haven't got a tutorial for this yet. I have kind of got it ready, but this is kind of maybe actually a little sneak peek or a little teaser. It will be coming, but I will be doing more than just a tutorial. I'm planning on actually doing a kit for this as well, because I'm very happy and pleased with this design, and it's using a certain tool as well. So it's just to let you know it's something I'm working on, and it will be coming. And it there will be kits for, I think, more or less these 3 colorways with the materials. So just a heads up, keep an eye on that. And then this one is also, I've always been really pleased. I like the design, but I just really like how the picture is. The aesthetic of seeing the design on the cabochon, but then how the chain is just there in the background and the stone. I just really like that. And also I just like the idea of adding that rose literally on top of the cabochon. You can still see the cabochon, but it's kind of more of a background to the design itself, I guess, the wire design. And then it looks like the final page where I have, these are also a little bit more recent, I think they're from last year. Some wire macrame bracelets that I'm really happy with. I always have a tendency to like these effects where it's kind of, whether it's wires or cords or whatever, crossing over and under. I just really like the effect that you get a lot of the time. Actually, it's the wire version of these bracelets. So that's what the wire version looks like. And again, I like the colours here. I always like my hematite colours, so my hematite beads, so there's no surprise really. But yeah, that's from last year if I'm not mistaken. And then this is kind of the back, just blank, and then closing it, and the back is then just covered in leather. So that is the book. So yeah, I just kind of thought I would share it with you because why not? I thought it was a nice, it's a nice thing to have, but I did also think it would actually be a nice way of having a portfolio. So obviously, like kind of here, you could do your favourite designs, your favourite pictures, or what you think represents you the best, and basically use it as a really fancy portfolio. So that's why I kind of just thought I would share it with you, that idea. And obviously this is just one option, but that's because that's what I ended up being able to try out. But I really like this book, and I will definitely keep it safe with, that's why you don't have to get a case, by the way. I just chose that because I kind of thought, why not go all out? But also, I like the idea of having it in a case and then keeping it safe, especially with the acrylic cover. I want to make sure I protect it nicely. So I'm going to be storing it in a case, but I'm quite pleased with this. And sometimes it's maybe nice to have something like this to kind of go back if you're a little bit of a downer, or you're having a bad day, or you're a little bit in a rut maybe with making things. Go back and have a look and see what you made before that you're proud of, and then maybe that can kind of kick you into gear, spark some new ideas, or get a little bit of confidence back maybe if it's something you're pleased with. So that's just my thought with it. That's why I thought I would share it with you. Otherwise, of course, like always, if you are interested or curious about this specific book, or the company rather, because like I said, they do other things than books as well. And by the way, there's different books. This is just the one that I chose. This is a landscape shape and the small version. There was also a bigger one which I was tempted to do, but obviously it cost a bit more. But I kind of thought it was kind of the bigger one and no case, or this one and a case, and I ended up thinking I wanted to prioritize getting the case for it. So I went for this, which to be honest, it's pretty good. I don't think I needed the bigger one anyway. But you can also get portrait, you can get square and different sizes. And like I said, they also do other things, not just these books. It's a printing company in general. So I'm going to leave link in the description box down below so you can go and have a look at this specifically if you want to. Otherwise, that's it for me for now. I hope you enjoyed having a little look at my fancy portfolio. So thank you so much for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.